Good evening everyone, Saber here. I wanted to take a few seconds to show you around the new farm complex. I finally have the thing completely up and running. So let me take a few minutes and just kind of show you around. I'm kind of above the castle area right now. So just behind, if you're going inside the castle, just behind the lanterns, all the way back there's a tiny little sky bridge which will take you back into the farm area. I'm going to, actually I'll just go through this way. So let me take you through and show you the farm itself, how they work, and then show you some of the circuitry just because I am a little proud of it. So once you walk in through here, on the left hand side are two different farms. There's going to be a third farm down here, and there are three farms on the right hand side. Four of these farms work the same way. I'm going to show you that right here. The first one on your left is a potato farm, so access to the potato farm is right here through this door. All of these farms are self-harvesting, so they're automatic harvesting and automatic item depositing here in their appropriate chests, but they are not automatic replanting. So while everything in here is community use, please feel free to take everything you want from here. It's totally fine. The only thing that I ask is that if you do harvest them and take them, that you do take a few minutes to just plant everything back. So that's why there's access built in through doors to the farm itself. So if you simply open the door, you can take seeds or whatever you need to plant. Go in the far back corner. You need to have a hoe with you, because when you walk across the bare dirt, there's a chance every now and then that you will bust up some of the dirt. Start in the far corner, plant yourself out of the door. So hoe whatever needs to be hoed to turn it into farmland, and plant yourself back out of this door and just shut the door. When you come in here, you're welcome to just take from the chest if you want. Take whatever you wish out of it. It's totally fine. If the plants are mature and you have a couple minutes to spare, go ahead and harvest the plants and then take some seeds out and replant for me. I will show you how that works. The potatoes were just planted a little bit ago. If you know what potatoes look like when they're harvested in Minecraft, they are not quite ready to be harvested yet. So let me show you how to harvest on wheat. All four of the farms work the same way. The self-harvesting farms all work the same way, and they have the same identical setup. So I will show you how. So potatoes are here, and on the right-hand side, wheat is here. Same setup. There's the door. And then if you go past the wheat, you run into beetroot. It's all right here. They're ready to be harvested, actually, it looks like. And then if you go past the beetroot, you come into carrots, which are right here. So all of these community chests, the items auto-harvest and auto-deposit underground and come back up through an item elevator, which is hidden inside of there, through a water elevator, and get deposited in this chest. So carrots and potatoes do not require seeds to replant, so you actually have to take some of the carrots themselves to replant them and some of the potatoes to replant them. But beetroots and wheat actually use seeds. So what I try to do is try to keep these separated out and put the item that you want to cook with up top and the seeds at the bottom. Feel free to take some seeds to start your own gardens if you want to, by the way. So here's how you harvest them. We'll go ahead and harvest we'll harvest the beetroots just because they're right here. So every one of these four farms that I talked about has a button next to its chest. Okay, harvest beetroot right here. 1, press the button to harvest the beetroot. Water will pour out of these dispensers. It'll wash all the beetroot away. They'll get washed into these water channels and go underground into a sorting mechanism, and then ride an item elevator back up here. So for beetroot, the beetroot plant and the seeds get deposited inside this chest. So push the button one time to dispense all the water. There it goes. There they all flow. Every now and then a few will get stuck in a corner. It's not the end of the world. Once they've all been dispersed down, go ahead and press the button again to have the dispensers suck the water back up. And then you can simply go back in here and replant, please. We'll go ahead and do that while the item sorter works. Let me show you the item sorter since it's currently clicking and working. After you harvest it, if you come over and look at the chest, you can watch the items tick in. So here it's ticking in all the seeds. It'll eventually grab all the beetroots too. That's all happening downstairs, and I will show you that in a minute. So if you just come over here and go ahead and replant. And feel free to harvest whenever you want. So you're welcome to just come in the farm and take whatever you want and go. If the items aren't ready to be harvested, if they're not fully grown and matured yet, or if you just don't have the time, that's totally fine. But if you do have a spare couple minutes, it would be helpful to everyone if you could just push the harvest buttons and then go ahead and replant everything. So let me get this replanted and I'll take you downstairs. See, my trusty hoe. Just back yourself out the door, and it's all planted back. Go back here and replace. Didn't use up. As you can see, beetroots produce a massive amount of seeds in comparison with how many actual beetroots they pop out. But they do pop out a lot, and it's good soup for health restoration. So carrots work exactly the same way. Push the button once, let them flow out, push it again, it'll suck the water back up, all the carrots will pour in here. Just grab the carrots, go replant. Take however many stacks you want. And then of course in the far corner we have the potatoes here. They work exactly the same way as well as the carrots. Take the potatoes, replant them, off you go. The wheat has wheat, I don't know why there are eggs in the wheat, has wheat seeds as well as wheat. It will harvest as well. It's actually ready to be harvested, I just don't want to take the time right now. And I will take you downstairs and show you the circuitry. So I have a maintenance access hatch here in the corner. None of you have any need to ever really go down here. You know, if something breaks, I'll fix it. Just let me know. But the circuitry's kind of weird. So each of these is a farm. Here's the carrot farm here, and here's the beetroot farm, and here is the wheat farm, and here's the potato farm. And this is part of the sugarcane farm, which I will show you upstairs in a minute. All these other 4 farms are identical in every way. I'll show you how they work. When you push the button upstairs to harvest, the signal comes down through here, hits this repeater just to strengthen the signal, and it activates the dispensers with the water in them, which are marked by, it's right under here, right under these torches here. So here, 2, 3, 4, 5, they all activate in sequence. These other blocks hold up water that is above them just to keep the soil moist so that it actually grows and doesn't dry up. The other part of the circuitry, it's actually pretty simple, is just a simple item sorter. The water channel that everything gets flushed into is right here. The items fall down into one of these 3 hoppers. They get caught by this hopper or this hopper, and if some of them don't get caught, they simply fall down into this hopper here. Those 3 hoppers, this hopper and the far hopper, plug into these 2 below them, and they plug into that center hopper, which plugs into this hopper, which plugs into this dispenser, which has a water channel going all the way over. There's a block of ice down there to allow the items to slide under, and a slab. It's kind of a cheat for making an item elevator. And then some soul sand, and the items get shot into the soul sand. They ride it up into another hopper that deposits it into the chest, which is what you grab the items out of. And all 4 of these farms work the exact same way. You don't technically need to have these sorters here. These are a leftover of an older part of the system that would have automated the seeds. So originally the seeds would have went to a different item elevator and would have went up an area here to go to a villager that I've enslaved that would have replanted the seeds. But getting him inside the door was a pain in the butt, and he eventually ended up crushing more of the plants that he just planted. So it really wasn't worth the output. But this is actually a way of locking your hopper. You can lock hoppers here by placing items in them to where when items flow across them, this hopper would only catch seeds, and then that hopper could be diverted to put those items to a different location. So you could allow, say, the wheat to go down the item sorter and go upstairs to be collected by the players, and then the seeds would get diverted by an item-locked hopper to go someplace else. Right now I don't have them configured that way, they're just a straight drop through. But I left this circuitry here just in case I figure out a way to automate it with automatic planting later. But these all work the same way. These 3 farms this way and that farm over there. This farm is a little bit different. It's part of the sugarcane farm, which I will show you upstairs in a moment. It doesn't have any of the droppers or anything for it. All it has is the sugarcane drops down through these hoppers, hits into a dispenser, up an item elevator with soul sand, and gets spit into a chest. so that you can collect it upstairs. It's also the one farm right now, it's the 5th farm, and it's the only farm right now that is completely automated. So the sugarcane farm is totally automated. You do not have to do anything, you don't have to replant it, it does it all by itself. Fully automated sugarcane farm, all the sugarcane gets deposited in here. Sugarcane grows a little bit slower than a lot of other crops. Sometimes it can take as much as 18 minutes to add a single stack of height. This farm is designed to smack the sugarcane and break it from the 2 level up. It only grows 2 levels high every 30 seconds to maximize the amount of sugarcane that you can actually get, hopefully. So let me show you how this farm actually works. I modified it from a design I found online. It's a fairly large farm. It's very tall here, so it's this giant kind of mausoleum looking thing in the back. There's an access area here, so you can see that it's a simple hopper clock. This is a timed hopper clock that I've modified to have a pulse output. Usually hopper clocks, you would take your redstone signal out this way, so that when this redstone block scoots over, it powers a line of redstone, and that redstone would stay powered for however long the hopper clock is working for. But I didn't want that. I wanted it to be a pulse. I wanted to simply hit, activate the pistons, and then retract the pistons back, so that it would give the plants time to grow in between, because it's kind of randomized as to how often sugarcane grows. So that's what we've kind of done here. Is I put a torch over here to modify it to just give a pulse, and it pulses. This delays and strengthens the pulse so that the blocks stay attached to the sticky pistons. There's a series of sticky pistons up through there. Item hopper clocks are very cool. The more items you put in them, the longer the timer is set. There's a figure for it to actually quantify how much. I do it online with a calculator and cheat. But 64 items causes a pulse about every 45 seconds, give or take. So technically, if this were a regular item hopper, this pulse would pulse on for 45 seconds, then pulse off for 45 seconds, then power for 45 seconds, then power off for 45 seconds. But I wanted a pulse. So what happens with this is once the items all get transferred out of there, which they just did, it moves over, that activates this, it pulses the redstone torch, which sends a pulse up and activates the pistons. And once all the items get transferred from this hopper to this hopper, it will activate again. I've got about 48 items in there right now. I might increase it later. So we'll see it activate. There it goes again. That's another pulse. That's the off pulse. It will kick back over here in a minute and pulse the redstone torch, and up it will go. So let me show you the actual farm itself for sugarcane. You can actually see it work if you want to. I thought some people might want to see that through this little door. You can walk over here and watch it work. So it's a 3-level farm. You could build it as tall as you wanted to. There's glass on the front to catch the sugarcane, and these blocks above the sugarcane, so you can only grow 2. It's standardly 1, so you leave it as 1. That way you don't have to replant it. Every about 35 to 40 seconds, that thing pulses, and a piston activates on all 3 levels and smashes out any sugarcane that might already be grown. I may extend the pulse to give it more time to actually count. I think that might increase productivity a little bit. But there it goes. So technically, and it did break a couple pieces that went down into an item hopper. Everything falls down against the glass and down into an item hopper. And then the item hopper deposits the sugarcane right here. So it's a little slower to build up, but it will build continuously. The last farm that I'm going to build in this area is going to be an automatically planting and replanting melon farm. Melons and pumpkins. It's going to go right here next to the sugarcane area. So it's going to work much like the sugarcane. It'll be fully automated, and it'll be right in here. And that'll happen sometime in the next day or two. But till then, you all are welcome to make use of these farms, and I hope it helps. You might want to start making use, because I think I'm probably going to DOP everyone pretty soon and put us all back into survival mode, just because That's more fun. Alright, have a good night. See ya.